I'm recording this right now on the Canon R5 Mark II, and we are gonna go put this camera through its paces. So to test it, we're going to Valdez, Alaska. We're gonna meet up with some friends who have a helicopter, which is very cool, and we're gonna go see some epic places. I think I might be switching back to Canon. This started out like any other trip. Little did I know, I was about to capture my favorite photo that I've ever taken. The weather wasn't the best, but we decided to take a chance and just go see what we could find in a couple different locations. Okay, so there's a couple of things about the camera that I really like already, and that's how fast it switches between video and photo modes. Almost instant. But you can also be taking photos, hit the record button, and it immediately starts recording whatever you have saved in your C3 preset, which I use AK30. But another thing that is blowing me away, which I kind of knew this with Canon, their stabilization has always been really good, but it's really good, especially riding around in a helicopter. Like, the stabilization is just next level. I'm on the 15-35 right now, which is a great lens. Also has stabilization, which I really like. And I'm using the electronic image stabilization at just on. I'm gonna switch it up and put it on dynamic here in a second, but it does punch in quite a bit. But I mean, you can see what I'm walking over. It's not easy at all. So now we're on the digital stabilization enhanced. Also, kind of curious to see how the wobbles are, because they say they're better. I think they're better. So I want to get a good photo of the helicopter with this fog and the ice in the background, because the ice is so blue right now. It's just spectacular. The other thing I didn't realize how much I missed about Canon cameras is the ability to create a time-lapse movie natively in the camera. With the day already going better than expected, just after I finished this time-lapse, suddenly the clouds completely broke up. So it looks insanely epic over there with those two towers. I'm gonna have them take off in the helicopter, and then I'm gonna do some ground shots from here with the 100 to 500 and some video, because the backlit ice just looks spectacular.
Got a radio check?
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, you me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, I'm picking up.
This is going to push the dynamic range of the Canon R5 Mark II to its limit. We have a strong backlit subject with very dark foreground.
Do you mind if I just play around a little bit?
Not at all.
This is unreal.
You sure don't look very big.
Which one should I dive off of?
You should dive off the one to your left and then go behind the one on the right.
All right, in 3, 2, 1.
Oh my gosh, that looks amazing! Can you stop and hover over the right tower one more time for me?
Will do. tell me higher or lower.
A little closer to that height is great. That is epic.
I didn't know it yet, but I had just captured my favorite photo that I've ever taken. But with the light starting to fade, most of my batteries being dead, it was time to head back to Valdez and get ready for day 2. All right, day 2. It's a lot windier today, so I don't know how much of that wind is coming through the microphone, but it's windy. Nonetheless, we're gonna head out, see what we can find, and see what else there is to try this camera out on. So we've landed, we're here. That's Columbia Glacier over there. And well, pretty much over there and over there and over there and over there too. This little beach will be here for a little bit because the tide's coming in, but we've got a little bit of time to be here and see what we can capture. So yeah, let's go see what sort of photos we can take. There's got to be something decent around here to take photos of. Because the R5 II offers up to 5 seconds of pre-recording and glacier calvings are notoriously difficult to capture, I decided it'd be a good time to test out pre-recording. You can see when I actually push the button by when the camera shakes compared to when the piece actually fell off the face. So that is a prime example of where pre-recording comes into play. That is just absolutely amazing for a camera like this, and something I've wanted to try for a long time. It's especially good for wildlife photographers and for sports photographers or videographers, because having that 3 to 5 seconds before you can press the shutter button saves you so much memory card space. The amount of times that I have spent days out in a place like this, whole days trying to capture that, and filled up memory card after memory card after memory card and burned through batteries. Now it does use more batteries, but it definitely makes it easier to capture shots like that. So just having a 3-second pre-record on video enabled me to capture that shot of the glacier calving, which ordinarily you just have to be recording the whole time. And of course you have to be pointing the right direction. And in my case, because the camera has 8K, the R5 Mark II has 8K, it makes it so you can punch into 4K and still get a really nice, usable image out of this. Hey, if you're enjoying or getting value out of this video, then consider subscribing. I go out and test and review equipment in the harshest and most real-world conditions I can find here in Alaska, and I give you tips and tutorials on how to use it. Tide is coming in. So it's time to go. Also, the glacier is spitting off some massive chunks that's creating some pretty large waves. So it's definitely time to pack up and head out. Next, I wanted to see how the R5 II handled low light in one of my favorite locations, a glacier ice cave. And I also want to go out and try and film and shoot the aurora with it. This is what we came up here for. This is spectacular. Absolutely incredibly beautiful up here. Now, capturing the aurora, on the other hand, is a challenge for any camera. and in regular video mode, the R5 II doesn't do a great job. But in time-lapse mode, while the R5 II definitely struggles in low light in video, it does really well in photos. Next, we're going to head to Nome, Alaska, where there's some opportunity to capture some unique wildlife here in Alaska. With the R5 II's ability to focus on animals in both video and photo modes, it's made for a fantastic wildlife camera, even though I haven't gotten out to shoot with it as much as I want to. Since I got the R5 Mark II and I've been using it as my daily hybrid video and photo camera, it has been fantastic. The photos that it produces are excellent. They're super detailed, have great dynamic range, very easy to work with the files in post, and the images come out looking fantastic. The classic Canon colors come across really well, and the photos are really easy to work with in post. All the images that I've captured with this camera, unless it's been me not taking very good images, have simply been excellent, including my favorite photo that I've ever taken, which, yes, is probably more a circumstance of me being in the right place at the right time with some really good friends, but still, it's a pretty awesome photo. And since they included C-Log 2 on the Canon R5 II, it has made working with this as a handheld video camera or running gun video camera a dream. C-Log 2 gives you so much latitude and dynamic range to work with that you can come away with some really beautiful imagery. It just gives you some beautiful colors. And I have used this camera on some pretty high profile shoots with brands, and they have been thrilled with the quality that I've come away with. Now, do I think this is a perfect camera? No. Pretty much any camera that's been released in the last few years has great image quality, has really good autofocus, has pretty good stabilization, and it really comes down to more, what are your needs and what are you using the camera for? And then probably also, do you have a lot of money invested in certain kinds of glass? The Canon R5 has fit my need and filled my need spectacularly well since it was released, but there are a couple of things that bother me about it. One of those is that I wish they would include a 4K 60 fine mode. Maybe that'll come down the road. I don't know. I don't know why it's not in here, but it's not. But I wish they would include that. And the other thing that drives me crazy, and this might just be more me not really understanding how to make this work correctly, but I can't get C-Log 2 to stay programmed in the user programmable slots. When I change, and I'm live streaming in here, I use a slot that's just Canon 709 color space because that's all I really need in here. But it changes all of them, and I don't understand why that does that. Canon, it'd be nice if you fix that. And the other thing that is interesting coming from Sony to Canon, or back to Canon, is that there's not very many audio options. Now, I do have the Tascam audio input, and this works great so long as you know how to use it. It's fantastic. But Sony has a bunch of different options for tiny little microphones that plug straight into the hot shoe, and DJI even has a little adapter for their Mic 2 system that plugs straight into the hot shoe. Canon, you need to come out with some stuff like that if you really want to win creators over. It's got to be easy, and it's got to be pretty seamless. Or DJI, if you're watching this, make an adapter for the Canon multi-shoe for your little microphone systems. That would make this camera so much easier to use. But other than that, This thing has been a dream to work with. And the only other thing that bugs me a little bit about this camera is that the 4K 120 definitely takes a pretty significant quality hit compared to the other 4K fine modes and obviously the 8K. I wish there was a way to get a little bit better quality out of the 4K 120. Also, I've heard that some people have had issues with this in very cold weather, and I gotta say that so far, I haven't had any. I've shot with this in well below 0 temperatures Celsius, like 0 to single digits Fahrenheit, and I've not had any issues. That being said, I am careful to keep my batteries warm before I start shooting with them, and that always helps in any sort of situation where you're gonna be shooting in the cold. But next, you're going to want to watch this video right here. I'll see you over there. As always, if you have questions, ask me in the comments below or join my live stream, which happens most Wednesday nights at 4 p.m. Alaska time, 8 p.m. Eastern. We can have more of a conversation. I can answer questions that maybe I didn't get to in this video. I'll see you again soon in the next one. Cheers.